I mean, I don't even know like what to say, how to start this match reaction. How do I even break this game down? This is going to be the most difficult match reaction I've done in a minute because Chelsea 2, Leeds 2, and we threw this game away. We 100% should have seen this game out. We were cooking in that first half, and like, subscribe, all that good algorithm stuff would be much appreciated. Let's just get into this game because what have I just witnessed, if I'm being honest? Just to set the stage for this game. Obviously, the Arsenal game is what it is. That was a cup game, but let's just look at the Premier League. Even though we got some wins in the Champions League, let's look at the Premier League. Win over Brentford, win over Palace, win over West Ham. Move on. Win over Wolves, and Leeds was just supposed to be another notch, another must win, another guaranteed win is what it should have been, despite the fact that Leeds beat us already this season. So let's talk about the fact that Leeds have gone undefeated against us this season. Tough. But even with that being said, I was expecting another green. Hull should be another green. Burnley should be another green. And then we go on a tough run. But instead, this first half versus this second half, it's what do we say about Chelsea? We're two completely different teams each half, every game. Usually, it's the worst half first, and then we can come alive in the second. This time, we were flying in the first, and we just threw the game away in the second. But let's start with the lineup, because to me, considering who's actually healthy right now, this is arguably our best starting lineup. Although you maybe say Fofana over acheampong. That's probably the only change you make. But considering who's healthy, obviously if Reece James is healthy, he starts. If Colwell is healthy, he starts. Things like that. But the way we play today really shows why these guys all should be starting together. This front six should all be starting together. Maybe you want to say Reece James can start in midfield, one of these deep positions. But the passing on display in this first half from this front six here, Estevao, to be honest, wasn't as involved as you would have thought in this first half. We did a lot going down the left side because in reality, Santos, Caicedo were sitting in. Palmer was floating all across the front. Estevao was really kind of holding the right, but then him and Palmer would interchange. Palmer would float out to the left. Enzo would come inside. So really, it's like these two just basically accommodate for wherever Palmer wants to float. And it showed because Palmer was on it today. He wasn't, peak like Palmer from 2 seasons ago, whatever. But overall, he was making things happen. Maybe a few loose touches here and there, a little bit of hesitation that I've been talking about in previous match reactions where he's a little hesitant in places where he would have been very aggressive in previous seasons. But that happens when you're coming off an injury. And he said it himself, he's not 100% healthy, but he's still fighting. His press was good as well today. But we're going to talk about what happened at the end of this game because it was rough. But Joao Pedro was solid. He ended up getting his goal. We'll talk about that. Enzo was solid. A couple of strong passes, a little bit of overhit passes, but overall he was solid. Estevao, when he did get on the ball, he looked exciting still. And that's what I like. We could either, with this starting lineup, we can go down that left side. Cucurella was playing some good balls across the box too on the ground. We can go down that left side. Santos line splitting passes, which is amazing because this allows Caicedo to not have to be on the ball as much. And let's not get it wrong. Caicedo can play those line splitting passes too. I think that's a bit of an underrated part of his game. But if we allow Santos to get on the ball, that means Caicedo doesn't have to be as aggressive in attack, making these passes, connecting with people. So he can be there waiting to break up a counter or anything like that. So it really gives us a nice balance. We can go the way of Caicedo. We can go the way of Santos. It really gives us balance in midfield, which we don't get in every partnership. But I thought all these guys were solid this game. But the thing is, we just couldn't keep them all on the pitch together. And we'll talk about that. But damn, This first half, I know I'm just disappointed because that one was a really, really disappointing one. We should have seen that game out. But let's talk about this first half. Early cards from Gusto and Acheampong. I'm actually surprised Gusto ended up playing the whole game. I think if Acheampong didn't get his yellow, eventually he moves out to the right and Gusto comes off. But they couldn't both stay on the whole game, so eventually Acheampong went off. Some early cards, they ended up getting some cards as well. Now this play here, where Pedro ends up scoring, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, baby.
That was the culmination of about 20 minutes of amazing passing from Chelsea, starting with Santos' line-splitting passes to Palmer, which allows Palmer to get the ball on the half turn in those spaces and find players. Then he gets to distribute. He's running at the defense. They're backing up. We had a few chances like that. Honestly, we could have had two in this stretch of the game, but one of them he finds Pedro making that run in, and bam, great finish on his left foot, 1-0. It was nice football. We should have had a second, though, before halftime. There were a few different chances. I can't even remember all of them because, honestly, I wonder what the stats are. But we had 19 shots, 4 big chances, almost 4 expected goals. And I think that's accurate. We were dominant in this game. Absolutely dominant. We should have seen this game out way, way earlier. But, unfortunately, we just weren't taking those chances. And it goes into halftime where I think Pedro had a chance where Enzo plays him over the top. He doesn't get the volley right. And then Palmer had a chance where he gets laid off. He's going in and he takes just a touch too many and doesn't get his shot off, where that's one of those chances where, Palmer of old, fully healthy Palmer, buries that. Absolutely buries that. So we go into halftime, 1-0, but still I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling like I'm the Chelsea strand, bro. I'm about to cut my hair. But at that point, I'm still thinking, okay, we go get the second. We see this game out, maybe a third. And in the second half, we come out and we actually do end up getting a second. Hato comes off from Cucurella. I didn't catch exactly why Cucurella went off. Maybe a little knock or something. And eventually, ball over the top from Sanchez to Pedro. And Pedro gets pushed in the back. Kind of similar to the Wolves game. If you guys remember the Wolves game, one of the penalty, I think it was the second penalty, Pedro just gets pushed in the back, kind of unnecessarily. Like he wasn't really in that dangerous of a position. And this second time, I think it was Biol who pushes Pedro in the back, really unnecessarily. Honestly, it was pretty much a gift. We'll take that. And Palmer, as expected, buries it 2-0. And at that point, I'm thinking, GG.
Yeah, baby.
We're seeing this game out comfortably. But then shenanigans start to happen. We get that goal, we make a substitute. Pedro Neto for Estevao. Now here's the thing. I'm not here just to dunk on Pedro Neto. He clearly, in the way we want to go with Chelsea, he's not a player who can be starting games for us. But I still think he has potential to be a closer for us with his defensive work rate, his pace. I think there's room there for him to come on in games like this. So I'm not mad at that, but let's at least hit 70 minutes, 75 minutes. Maybe try to go for a third goal. We take off Estevao, and then that right side becomes functionally non-functional. What did I just say? It basically becomes non-functional. Is what I'm trying to say. Now, to be fair to him, he had a couple good crosses that no one got on the end of. I'm not going to put that on him. I've been disappointed with some of his crossing this season, but he had some good crossing in this game. The thing with him, though, is just he's too predictable. And you notice it. I know he's left-footed, but with all the pace that he has, he does not run down the wing nearly enough. He's always looking to cut inside and play that ball. And then eventually, it becomes very obvious for the Leeds defenders, and they know exactly how to defend him. Estevao gives you that two-way threat where it's like, oh, I don't know if he's going this way, he's going that way, and the defenders are constantly on their heels. That's that dynamism we need on that right wing, and Neto just kind of robs us of that. But despite that being said, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe, I don't know, whatever, we can't blame him for what went down in that second half with these goals. Because the first one, Caicedo, Moises Caicedo, he did us dirty there, bruh. It's just, not the craziest foul ever. He didn't even get a yellow card for it, but at the end of the day, it was a foul in the box when the man was running through. I think it was nmecha. I don't remember exactly who was running through, but he did foul him, and it is what it is. They got the pen. Good penalty for nmecha. 2-1. But still, at that point, I'm thinking 2-1. Okay, a little nervy. Let's go get the third. Still, we still have enough attacking quality on to go get this third. But this next goal.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Here's the thing. I'm still going to speak on it. Because what did we just witness?
Oh, hell
They
no!
go through, kinda. I mean, it wasn't even that threatening of a play. I think it was nmecha again. He goes through, I mean, maybe a slight handball call there. I mean, they ended up calling it accidental, which is probably the right call. There was so much shenanigans, I honestly can't even remember it play by play for you. I probably have to rewatch it. But I think Chalobah was on his back. He does absolutely nothing, just lets him go through. The ball goes through. Acheampong should have cleared it. He ends up doing a split on it or something. I don't even know what he's doing on the ground. It falls back. I think first of all, Chalobah doesn't want to really be aggressive and clear it. Then Acheampong kind of shields and thinks he's going to let it fall back to Sanchez, and he should have just cleared it, and then he ends up hitting the ground, and then Sanchez ends up doing like a slide, like he's celebrating, trying to get the ball. He low-key collides with the Leeds player, then it falls off to Gusto, who should have had a clearance there, but then I think someone comes in and ends up getting a touch from Leeds, and it goes through, and then obviously it's just an open net for Okafor to score, and that entire sequence was just absolute circus. When you want to say Charity FC, when I say Charity FC, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm not gonna lie, for a few games, we've been conceding, and I've been hoping to get a clean sheet somewhere in here, even though we've been going on a good run of games. A clean sheet would have been nice, just to show us a little bit of security at the back. But that goal right there is one of the worst goals we've conceded in a while in terms of just the bozo gene, in terms of just the circus, the charity. This is everything you want to talk about Chelsea's defense being ridiculous. It's encapsulated in this moment. And even Liam Rosenior cannot root that out of us yet. Hopefully, eventually we can. But that was poor. But even with that being said, we put the pressure on. We bring on Fofana. Acheampong had to come off, yellow card, whatever. Bring on Delap for Santos. We lose a little bit of midfield control maybe, but at that point of the game, it was so back and forth. And as an attacking substitution, I like that in terms of let's just go for the game. Did Delap do much? We had a couple good ball. Like we won a couple duels, but nothing crazy attacking wise. But either way, it's an attacking substitution, and it did allow us to see a lot of some more fluidity in attack, where Palmer sometimes was in the middle, and we got to see Joao Pedro out on the left, which we haven't really seen this season at all. And then sometimes Palmer will go back out to the left, Joao Pedro back in the middle. But that last like 15, maybe really 10 minutes where we really started to put on the pressure. I wonder what it says here, like around there, yeah, around 10 minutes. We had so many opportunities. The crosses, we were spamming crosses. Not all of them great quality, but Joao Pedro had like 3 different headers that went off target. They had a chance where the ball, I don't remember if this was earlier or not, but we had that the ball fell perfectly in the box for someone just to smash it in. I think it was Chalobah who was running in on it, but Joao Pedro, I guess, didn't see him or the communication was off, and he basically takes it and tries to turn and shoot instead of Chalobah who's running in at goal. That should have been a goal there. And then the big one, late in the game, this is pretty much approaching the 95th minute out of what was supposed to be 96. We just, finally, Caicedo plays a ball into Gusto. Gusto with a nice little flick onto Caicedo, which, Gusto, I said this about him before. He's a fun player. I like him. I think there's room for him in a starting lineup for us if Reece James is in midfield. If not, then no. But there's two things that Gusto loves. It's a slide tackle, a low-key risky slide tackle, and then a lot of the times he actually pulls it off. But this game he got a yellow card in like the 8th minute. and it's flair, just random flair. He loves thinking he's just the most technical, skillful player on the ball. To be fair though, this flick through was nice. This little back heel pass he played to Caicedo was nice. Caicedo looking like prime De Bruyne or something. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but he plays a ball across the box. A lot of fizz on it, but there's no excuse for Cole Palmer, who with an open net at the goal, skying that shot. That was painful. I would have bet beforehand if you told me Cole Palmer has that exact chance in 2024, early 2024, and 2023, if even with his current health status, if you would have told me Cole Palmer has that exact chance, I would have bet everything I own, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. But I would have bet it anyway and told you Cole Palmer buries that. He's all celebrating. We're doing the Cole Shutter celebration. And 3-2, once again, Chelsea run away, steal this game in the last minute, and we're gassed. But, wow, what a chance missed. Now, I will say, the fact that we created that chance in the last minute does give me a little bit of hope that we can break down a low block in the future. We need that. We need something like that. But hopefully, Cole Palmer doesn't lose confidence from that. Another great performance from him, goal and assist. But we had another last minute free kick. I don't know why in the world Pedro Neto's on that free kick when we have Palmer, what's his name, Enzo Fernandez. Like with either of them on the pitch, I don't know why Joao Pedro is taking that, because Palmer and Enzo basically cover both feet, both directions, any type of ball you want to play. And of course, the ball was not great. From maybe they were trying to do a little back post play back across from Gusto, but it ended up just going out of bounds. It was not great. And then that was pretty much the last action of the game. 2-2. Disappointing. We were on a great run. We have 4 wins in a row. Everyone's talking about United 4 wins in a row. Rosenior sneakily have 4 wins in a row. Obviously, now it's a draw. Still undefeated since he's come in, but if we won, we would have went above United, which would have been nice. Now, West Ham. I mean, this game is still going on as I'm recording, but, West Ham, if they see this one out, hey, West Ham, do us a little solid, bruh. Do us a little solid, bruh. Handle business. See this one out. I don't want to see no Fergie time, none of that. West Ham, see this one out for us, please. But if West Ham see this out, we actually do go above United on goal difference. If they bring this back, then we'll probably stay 5th. But either way, we're knocking on the door. We'll keep a close eye on that Villa game. City, I'm not really too fussed about. But we're knocking on the door, and we're really in this top 4 race. Maybe 5 race. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's been guaranteed what happens yet. But either way, appreciate you for watching if you made it this far. It's been a longer match reaction than usual, but this game was crazy. It was, I guess you could call it cinema, but it's the worst kind of cinema. But I'm not trying to see this. But that first half showed me the potential of Chelsea, the few gems out of this whole Blue Coat Clear Lake era, all playing at the same time. Maybe we have something. We might have something. I don't know why it's taking so long to get all these guys on the pitch at the same time, but we might have something. Let's just get Reece James back and see what we can do. But like I said, appreciate you for watching. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, all that good algorithm stuff would be much appreciated. And we'll be back for our next game. I think it's Hull. That game I'm not too fussed about. I mean, if obviously if we lose, then I'm fussed. But Hull City, we should be winning that, and then Burnley back at the weekend after that. Finally, it's no midweek games there, so a little bit of a break there. But I'm yapping. See ya. Peace.